Joined here today by the one and only Marvin Vettori, coming off the big win a few weeks ago at UFC Tampa. Marvin, thank you for joining me, man. How are you?
Thank you very much for having me. I'm good, thank you. I'm here in Italy having some rest time, and yeah, so I'm good.
And so, where do you kind of live right now? Are you normally in Italy, or do you spend a lot of time in the States? Where do you currently live?
No, I'm currently like 90% of the time in the U.S. in California, training at Kings MMA. But like after my fights, if I have a moment, I come back to see my family because everybody's still here, and I'm just now I'm just enjoying a little bit of time of back home here. But no, I'm currently most of the time in California.
And was it difficult for you leaving Italy to go move to the United States? I mean, was that a big change for you that was a little bit tough, or have you adjusted to it?
Well, I mean, I actually moved away from my hometown when I was 18. I went to London and I lived there for 2 years. I went to train London Street Fighter. I mean, it's not that it's never easy. It's never definitely easy, but it's been a while now, and I've I've grown, and I mean, my life it's been like this for a while. Like it's been like 6 7 years now that I've been away I've been away from home and coming back when I could and things like that. So it's never easy, but I definitely got used to it a little bit, and but yeah, I mean, I had to do what I had to do to pursue my dream. So I did it.
Of course, and let's talk about this fight against Andrew Sanchez. Obviously, it was a good victory, a dominant one for yourself. How do you kind of look back at the fight?
Yeah, it was a dominant victory. I was in control the whole time. I did good things, but I also did a lot of mistakes. I think I could do much. I could have done better a couple of things, and um, so yeah. I mean, I got to be happy with that performance, but I definitely did a mistake. I brought them down, and I can't go. I can't wait to go back and work on them and improve even on those things I didn't do as well as I wanted to. But at the end of the day, it was a dominant victory. I was always in control, and then I'm happy with the performance. But we strive. I'm striving for greatness. I'm striving for perfection, and so I can definitely improve a lot of things still.
And heading into the fight, we do know that there was a lot of beef between you guys, a lot of anger and stuff like that. Do you feel like that affected the fight at all?
Well, it might, a little bit, but not at the end of the day. Once you step in there, you have to be professional, and you have to. I mean, that's the way I see. You can't let the anger get to your mind. If anything, you can use that anger to as energy and use it as a fuel in the right way, and but you can't let it, like, you can't step into a fight and be angry, because it's not going to work out well. I think, from my perspective on approaching a fight. But it was definitely fuel for, and was definitely energy that I brought into the fight. But yeah, I mean, maybe, yeah, I really wanted to finish the guy, but he was covering up really good, and he was taking the shots good. But I don't know, honestly. And from his side, I don't know. He might want to prove a point, maybe staying on the feet or something. I don't know, maybe. But from my point of view, it was definitely some extra energy, some fuel. But once I was into the fight, I didn't let the anger get to my head. That's for sure.
And where did that anger come from before the fight? Is that just because he pulled out the first time? Was there some other stuff? Where did that kind of come from?
Well, it came from the fact that he was supposed to show up, and I had my plan to do things, and I was ready at that moment. I was cutting weight, this and that, and then my friends and my people flew out to Canada from Italy, from all around, to be there, and then that didn't happen, and I had to change everything up, and it came from the fact that I think that the pink eye wasn't that strong of a reason in a way, and it came from the fact that he didn't accept the fight a long time ago too, and then the anger after this came from the fact that he was talking shit on some things that he didn't really know. He didn't really know much about, and so that's where the anger came from.
And now that the fight's over, is it fair to say you guys are cool now? I mean, there's no more anger, no more beef, or is there still a little bit of something even though the fight's
Well,
over?
well, I have no reason to be angry with him. Uh, I mean, at the end of the day, like I mean, what I don't respect it's him talking about the USADA thing without knowing much about. That's what I don't respect. But at the end of the day, everybody have their own opinion, and I'm not really worried about changing it. And I got nothing against the guy. At the end of the day, I beat him up, and that I mean that at the end of the day, I knew that the worst thing that I could do for him was to win my fight, and that's what I did. So at the end, at the end of the day, I did what I had to, and that's it.
And you did mention
There's
some people.
there is not a point on carrying a beef that I
Yeah,
will never squash anyway, and there's no point, not at all.
for sure that makes sense. You did mention the USADA thing that some people didn't quite understand, and they're commenting without understanding. What can you tell us about the situation with USADA to kind of make people understand what happened there?
Well, what a lot of people come up to this and they're like, "Oh yeah, but Ostarine is actually a banned substance." And I'm like, of course it is. Otherwise, I wouldn't be suspended. Of course, the Ostarine, it's a banned substance. But the thing is that it can be in so many different things, and without being listed as one of the ingredients, that it can happen that a lot of athletes still take that in and without knowing. That's the whole point of it. And if you go and read not article that I wrote or some crazy guy wrote, like 3 or 4 articles that USADA wrote, and that it will let you understand more about it. But you got to read all 4, and it will tell you that osprey can be found in many different supplements, even though it's not listed as one of the ingredients, and that's it. And that there were like 4, 5, or even 6 athletes in the same situation as I was, and a lot of things were very weird. Like we were never tested positive for anything like that before. The amount of the level of ostarine that they found was super low, something like 0.10 zeros after the zero, even more, 1 gram, something like that. And then that ostarine, it's a substance that is not a steroid. Actually, they call it a SARM, and it's something that is supposed to do kind of uh, um, the effect of a steroid, but it's not a steroid. And it's a it's one of the stupidest substances that an athlete, a high level athlete, would take, because it stays in your body for such a long period. It can stay up to like 3 6 months sometimes, and the reward of it, it's nothing comparable to the risk of it. Like just things like that will help you understand that it's very weird. The whole thing is very weird, and that I was caught in a situation that I didn't deserve to be there, and I still pay all the consequence for it. And when somebody comes and tells me, "Oh, you're a juicer and this and that," obviously I get angry because it's bullshit, and they don't know enough, and they clearly didn't have they didn't have like they clearly didn't see the whole picture of it. They clearly didn't read enough about it, and they still talking. But I mean, at the end of the day, you have to say something to try to get to my mind, and whatever. But that's not the right way, I think.
And so, moving on to a different subject, someone that you fought in the past recently became the middleweight champion. What was your reaction when you saw your former opponent Israel become the new champion?
Yeah, I mean, he had good performances, but with me, it will be a different story. It's always gonna be a different story with me, and he knows that. And to prove that he's the best, he will have to beat me again if he really wants to. We will have to run that fight again. We will for sure, because that fight was so close, and I think I got the fight. The first round, it's debatable, but I see mine, and the other two are like, the third is not debatable. It was definitely mine. The second was close, but probably more his. But I mean, like, I respect that he was very active, and he showed up every fight, and he did on good performances. But at the end of the day, I know what it takes to beat him, and I think after Borachinia will fight him, and I think Stadbender will be successful against him. In a few fights, the next fight to make will be the next. I'll be the next contender. It should be the fight to make, me against him, the rematch, and I definitely see that happening in the future, and I think the UFC should jump behind that and promote that rematch, because it would make a lot of sense, and I definitely deserve it, seeing the first performance and the first fight. And I mean, I know I'm a few fights away, but I'm gonna keep winning. I'm gonna keep climbing the rankings, and I can see definitely happening. And I think to prove that he's the best, he will have to fight me again.
And so now that you are coming off this win over Andrew Sanchez, you have a 2-fight winning streak. What's next for you at this point? Is it a ranked guy in top 15, top 10? What's kind of next for you right now?
I'm not really thinking about it, but I gotta keep winning, and no matter who they put in front of me, I'm gonna just keep running through my guy, keep running through my next opponent. And I definitely want a ranked opponent, but I'm not a matchmaker, and whoever they put in front of me, I'll make sure to smash him, and that's it.
All right, and I have just one more for you, kind of a two-part question. When would you like to return next? And if the UFC gave you the option to choose your next opponent, who do you think would be the right guy for you next?
Well, I think that I would like to fight again by the end of February, beginning of March. And my next opponent, well, if I could choose, probably Jack Hermanson would be a great fight for me as a ranked opponent. And otherwise, Yotko, other fighters, there's a lot of other guys that make sense for me in the top 15. I actually think I should already be ranked. Honestly, there's some guys that I don't think that they deserve that much to be in there. But I don't even know actually the updated rankings. But I'm not really paying too much attention to it. But yeah, I mean, those two guys, other two, like, I mean, I don't care, honestly. I really don't care. I think I'm the best in the world, and I don't care who they put in front of me.
All right, well, thank you so much for the time, Marvin. I really appreciate it, man. Congratulations on this victory, and we look forward to seeing what's next for you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.